Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the Angular Livestream course that Kritika and I are on a mission to teach you live courses so that you can actually see and actually feel the way that we go through. For example, if you are stuck, if we have an error and you can solve that with us, you will actually see how projects are built from scratch. Now today we are going to do template driven forms in Angular. As I said in my last video, so if you haven't seen it already, go ahead and see it. In Angular, we have two kind of forms. One is reactive and one is template driven. We have already covered the reactive form and we built the sign up page. Let me show it to you if you haven't seen our last video. So as you can see, this is our application. This is the home page. On the left, we have coin of the day, which is tell us today, and we have famous cryptocurrencies by market cap. Now, all this data is real data. It is fetched by real APIs, and we have covered how we can do that with HTTP and communication, the backend services. And we already have covered that in week 3 or week 4. So if you are interested into that, we'll have a look. But I'll show you what we built this morning. We build the reactive form and we build the sign up page, right? As you can see, we have the sign up page with all the features like name is required. And if email is not entered, it says email is required. But even if I enter something which is not valid, it says please enter valid email address. Same thing with password. If the length is not long enough, it will show appropriate errors. So we covered this beautiful topic of reactive forms, and forms are important for any application. And now my goal is to cover the login form. As you can see, the login page does not exist right now, and I'll be building it right with you. And if I'm stuck in the way, well, you will see how to get out of errors. And for those who don't know, who are here for the first time, I'll just give you a brief overview in the next 10 seconds that we have a GitHub page. I'll link to that in the description down below if I haven't already done that. And here we have the main branch, which has the latest code, but we also have branches. And you can see, for example, if you're following today's session, you will see branch number 8, template driven forms. If you want the last one, go to week 7, week 6, week 5, 4, 3, 2. So basically what that will do is you won't really have to see the latest and final code. You will see the code based on the video you're watching right now. And I think that should be pretty helpful for especially those who are joining the first or second videos. Now, without any delays, let's get into coding because that's obviously my favorite part. So what do we have here? I just did some cleaning up. For example, I just created the auth module. In the auth module, we have the sign up page, right? I'll create login page similarly. First, I'll zoom in for you because I think the screen is not big enough. Let me know in the comments down below if this size is good enough for you to see, because I never know if you don't tell me. Now I'll remove myself so that you can see the screen a little better. Now I want to add a lazy loaded module. Now lazy loading is a very important topic. I say that in every video. I sound like a broken record, but you have to understand what lazy loading is. It's a necessity today. And if you don't know it, well, I recommend you to watch some videos on our channel. We have covered it twice. We have covered it one with basic idea what is lazy loading and in Angular, React, Vue, etc. So go ahead and see that. But you can also see how to do lazy loading in Angular specifically, which is another video which is one of our best performing videos. So go ahead and see that and let us know how you find it and if you learn anything new. Now, going back to the screen here, I'll just create ngGM, right? And I'll say auth, or I'll just say login, right? I can probably do that. And which module I want it to be loaded from? I want it to be loaded from the auth module, right? And the route should be login, right? That should work. Let's see if, okay, I think just a double colon. Okay, perfect. Now it created the module for us. I really love this part about Angular, that it creates module for us based on the command line. I think that's really awesome. And it's very powerful feature that we don't have to type in those things, and it just creates it for ourselves. It's just magic for me. So okay, we have our path, we have our module. Now let's go back to the application, and now it says login works. It no longer says that it doesn't know about this page. So that's awesome. We have at least reached milestone number 1, right? You can see here login works. Before it used to say page does not exist. If I write login 1, 2, 3, it says page not found. So we are going in the right direction. That's good. Kudos to us. Now, if I go to the login module, what do we have here? We have the login component, common module, which is important in every single module of Angular. We have the login routing module. Now, because we have already covered the reactive form, I know some imports that I'm going to need, right? So I've already copied them and I'll paste them here. If you don't understand what's happening, well, I really recommend you to go ahead and see the reactive forms video because you really never know which form is more useful for you. I'll just copy paste it on from my screen. I'll import, I'll do all the imports quickly. Okay, that should work. Now, just going over it, basically I have imported the forms module. Remember, in the last video, we imported reactive forms module. Now we are importing forms module. Reactive for reactive forms and just form modules for template-driven forms, just to give you an overall idea, right? Now, we have the common module, the mat card module. Mat card is something we used in the last video. I'll just show you quickly, very, very quickly. For example, if I go to the sign up page, if I go to the sign up page, you see this effect, like it shows like it's a card, it's a div that is coming out of the screen with the shadow and the borders. That is basically mat card, and it allows us to add headings and icons on the top. So we'll just be copying that. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to create new designs in our application because the main goal is just to learn how to make an application that works, right? That is all we want. I'll move this into the auth component because because login and sign up are both authentications of some kind, right? People can agree or disagree. It's your application. You can do whatever you want. I'll do whatever I want. So I'll go to my sign up and I'll just copy it, right? And I'll paste it in my login component. We don't have this, so that's fine. I'll change the heading. I'll say login. Okay, let's see. If I go to login, there you go. We have our card with the heading and the sign. So that's looking pretty good. Now let's start actually building the form. Let's actually start building the meat of our application. The reason why you're here in this video. Let's start and do that. Now in the content, we have two options. In the last video, I created another module which contained my form. Obviously you can do that, but I just want to show you all the ways possible. So this time I'm not going to do that. I'm going to build the form right here. Now, the main difference between reactive and template-driven forms is that template-driven forms are basically completely in the template. That's why they are called template-driven. And what is template? Template is HTML file. So everything in the HTML file controls the form itself. The form is not controlled by our TypeScript file. Whereas in reactive forms, although they are much more flexible, we can add a lot of custom validations very easily, etc. I'll add some padding on the top. Yeah. So we can control them and they're very powerful. But in simple cases like these, we will just have two fields like email and password, and we don't really need, fancy validations and a lot of logic, a lot of custom things. It's just better to just simply use template-driven forms because template-driven forms are easier to build, and you will see why. Now, in this course, if you're here for the first time, you might not know we are using Angular material. We are creating this application the complete Angular way. We are doing Angular as much as we can. So I'll just add a class, which is W75, taking 75% of the width of the screen available. Okay, let's go in. Let's add the label. This would be email. We need email and password, right? So yeah. Now you'll see the power of template-driven forms and how easy they are. So mat input, let's see how it looks. So as you can see, we have our email field, right? I like the outline ones. It's your application. You can choose whatever you want. So I'll just do appearance outline. I find this better, but again, this is not Angular or any other concept. This is totally up to you. You can do whatever you want, whatever you prefer. Now, we don't have any validation. We don't have anything right now, but there are a few things we need to add, right? If I say that this is a required field, now, if I don't fill it, still nothing happens. Let's see why. What else do we want? What else do you need in a form like this, you need an ID, right? It's a basic HTML thing. It's nothing fancy, nothing new here. Now there are some custom validators you can add. You can add email. Now you can read about them in the Angular documentation, but basically it will make sure that it is of email type, and if not, it will show an error, right? So it really makes our life very easy. I'll add ng model. That is something you need to add, and we have the ID and then just the name, right? The name of this field is email. Now, if you have any experience in building forms in HTML, it looks pretty similar, right? It's not very different than that. And obviously, I guess the type is missing now. Type is email. This is again basic HTML property. This is not Angular. The only Angular property we have added is ng model and email. Let's see. Now it's red. It shows that we have an error. If I type something, it's still red because it's not of email type. Now it's not red anymore. So now it's valid. Now, if I remove this email directive and just type in something, see, it doesn't show any error now. So that's how important it is. I have to add that email directive so that if someone doesn't enter an actual email, it should still throw an error. So if I now write this, it's still throwing error. Now, how to print useful error messages like we did in the sign-up form, we'll shortly see that. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview of how important this is and how you can check the kind of validators Angular provides us. Now, we can obviously Google it, Angular form validators. Built-in validators, right? So as you can see, there are a lot of built-in validators: min, max, required, true, email, min length, pattern, etc. And there are also many more. You can obviously look at their documentation to learn a lot, but I'll just stick to my application for now, and all these things are available online for you to check out. If you want us to make a separate video on that, let us know in the comments down below. If any comments get 10 likes or more, we will create a video on that. So that's our bonus for you guys. Okay, moving on. I'll create the next fields just like this. I'll just copy, paste this. Go here, enter password. I don't need the email validation anymore. I need ng model, mat input. This has to be a required field. Yes. Password. Can be in small, that's fine. Type password, name password. What else do we need? I don't want the autocomplete. So again, this is HTML, not Angular. Autocomplete new password. I'll stop the autocomplete from happening in this application. And I also want another validation. I want the min length to be at least 5. This is something that we can add so that it throws an error. So let's see. If the password is not entered, it's red. If I enter it, but it's not 5 in length, it's still red. If I enter the 5th character, now it's fine. So that's perfect. We have our errors and everything. All we need is a button and error messages to be displayed. So let's do that right now. For the button, it's again pretty straightforward. Let me pull this down. Let me bring this here. Okay, so for the button, I'll just add, what do you think? A button. And I'll say login. Obviously, this looks hideous, and I'm very bad at styling. I'm no Kevin Powell. So what I'll do is I'll do type. First of all, submit. Color. Now this is Angular material at its best. Primary. And I'll create a matte raised button. Okay. Let's see it. There you go. We have a beautiful button, and we have different colors actually. You can actually play around with them. They are primary and a few others. My Visual Studio Code is not really giving me the options. It should, but you can check them on the Angular material documentation. I'll try to link that down in the description below. If I forget, please remind me. Okay. Now the next thing is I want this button to be disabled when my form is disabled, right? I don't want my user to be able to click on this button. So for that, what I'll do is I'll say, hey, please disable this form if my login form is invalid. That's it. As simple as that. No need to go to my TypeScript. I can directly access my form right from here because I have created a hashtag login form, as you can see right here. So I can now access it right in my HTML file, and I can say, well, I want it to be invalid. I want it to be disabled when it's invalid. So it's as simple as that. No need to go to your TypeScript because this is a template, which is HTML file, template driven form. So my form is looking pretty solid now. Let's see if it actually works though. I have said a lot of things, but if it doesn't work, that would be disastrous for me. So p@b.com, just an invalid email address, some passwords, and there you go. There's my button. If I make the password 4 of length 4, it's suddenly disabled. So that's working perfect. I'm very happy. I'm very proud. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to display messages and then we'll call it a day. Well, display messages and then do the console log statement and then we'll call it a day. Okay. So there you go. Just 2 more things to do. Now, to print errors in mat form field, which is again Angular material, which is really powerful. Check out our video number 1 and 2, and you will understand why I'm using mat material and why it gives me a lot of power. And especially if you are not interested into designing or you're bad at it, like I am, this is the best thing for you. This is the holy grail for you, right? I want to display email is required. So if I don't enter something, it says email is required. That's perfect, right? That is really perfect. But there are 2 types of errors that I want to show. One, email is required, and the second, email is invalid. We already saw how we can do that in reactive forms, but we don't know how to do that in template driven forms. Basically, I just need a if condition, right? In this if condition, I want to check if the email is invalid and the type of error is required. Only then I want to show this message. In the next one, I want to say, please enter a valid email address, right? And I want to display this on some certain conditions. I don't want to always display this. So for that, I want to access my input, right? I don't have access to anything in my TypeScript file. How can I do that? Basically, it's like magic. I can actually say email equals ng model, and that's it. If I do that, now I can access it right here. See, I can say if email is invalid and the error, so email dot errors. Now this can be null or can be not null, because when the required error does not exist, it will be null. There won't be any errors, right? I can do if the error exists, well, please show me email is required. Let's see if it actually works. Did I close this? Oh, it's confusing. Why? Why is Visual Studio doing this to me today? Okay, now it's better. So now it says email is required, but now it doesn't display the message. Well, that's because this ng, if I remove this, actually I want to show you another powerful thing. What you can do is you can also display the error JSON. So what I will do is, just for fun, I'll say email dot errors, and because this is a JSON value, I'll use the JSON pipe and just print them. I just want to see what errors we have. So right now we have required true error, right? You can see this JSON object, and if I print ASD, it says email true. So basically, before I had required error, now I have the email invalid error, right? This is how you can check the type of errors we have. So in here, what I want is, I want to check. I'll copy this and I'll change just one thing, and I hope, and I think you have already guessed it. This time, I just want to check if it's of type email. And that is it. Now, if I don't enter anything, it says email is required. If I enter something, It says, please enter a valid email address. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is working so well today. No errors on the live stream. I'm so happy. God is with me today. Okay, let's go to the password. Password, we still don't have the errors, but now at least we know. I want you to pause the video if you're watching right now and try it on your own. And obviously, if you can't do it, you can always watch the video then, right? Now, if you're watching the video just to confirm or you are stuck, well, let's see where you were stuck and how to solve that. So the first thing we need to do is we need to say password equals ng model, right? That's the first thing we need to do so that we can actually access these things. But instead of email, this time the error is going to be min length, and that's it. And the error can be password must be at least five characters. Now, this is not a great error message, but you get the idea. You can enter whatever you want, obviously. And I'll say password is required over here, right? Let's see if it works. So now if I don't write anything, it says password is required. Very good. And now it says password must be at least 5 characters. And now it goes away. In the email, please enter valid email address. And in the end, it just works fine. Now, the only thing left is, and that's pretty easy to do, like how to display, how to log in, and then go to your TypeScript file with the data. So all you need to do here is you need to create the ng submit. Basically, this is how you submit forms in Angular. And I can write on login, and there you have to pass this login form because TypeScript doesn't know what's happening over here. TypeScript for the first time doesn't know what's happening in the HTML file. So you need to pass the form itself, the instance of the form, I should say. And I can say it's ng form type, ng form. Okay. And what I need to do is I need to say login form. Actually, I'll just console log it for now because we don't have a backend connected to it. Now, in the future videos, we are going to build backend on Firebase. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I'll just say login form dot value. Let's see if it works. If it works in the first attempt, I'm going to be very happy. Let's open the console. Let's make the screen bigger. Let's make the console bigger. Now, p@b.com. This is not a valid email address, but I'm just entering it to test. Now, if I click on login, there you go. We have our email, we have our password, we have reached our TypeScript file, and now we can do anything the hell we want to do. So this is really good. I hope you learned something new today. We have covered everything related to template-driven forms. In this video, in the last one, we did reactive forms. I'm really happy of how it turned out. Now, in the future videos, we'll be doing, obviously, Firebase connection, linking our application to the backend, adding authentication, and all sort of good stuff. But I hope now your Angular fundamentals are good enough. Now your Angular fundamentals, now you understand an Angular application when you see one. I really hope that's true. If not, let me know so that we can build better content for you. Now, if you don't know what's happening on our channel, we are interviewing the best people on YouTube and in real life. And we are bringing them on our channel, and we are very pleased and we are very honored that they actually come on our channel because we are still surprised that that's happening. But because of you guys, we have subscribers, we have a family of 1,100 people now. So that's all thanks to you. So kudos to you guys. And we have been able to invite those people on our channel, and they have wisdom, and they share such good knowledge with us. And we do that all for you. So if you don't know about that playlist, well, I'll show that to you right now before you go. So this is our playlist. We have taken 3 interviews right now. I think here it is. So we have invited, first of all, Angular core team members. Mark Thompson. This episode was just awesome. Like, he works in the Angular core team. We are here learning Angular, and he is one of the people who builds Angular. And on Angular's official YouTube channel, you will see this guy explaining awesome concepts to you. It's really awesome. In the second video, we confronted the Docker captain. We came to know there are less than 30 Docker captains in the whole world, which literally blew our mind. And the third one, our favorite YouTuber, DevOps Directive, Sid Palace, in which he explained everything related to DevOps from Docker and everything else. So if you haven't seen those videos, go ahead and see them. They are dropping gems throughout the video. So I'm very excited for that. Go ahead and have a look at those videos. I'm sure you learn a lot. And thank you very much for watching. If you stick till the end, I really appreciate your time. I hope you learned something new. I hope we are doing you a justice. And until next time, bye.